An angiosperm is a flowering plant that can grow flowers and fruits that mainly attract pollinators. Angiosperms are land plants, so they have a waxy coating that keeps in moisture and stops excess evaporation. They also contain stomates, which exchange gases, as well as true roots that absorb water and nutrients. Angiosperms also contain a vascular system and contain some woody tissue. Angiosperms have all terrestrial adaptations, which is a waxy coating to protect from water loss, a skeletal system to hold their leaves and stems up from the stress of gravity, and protective packaging for their eggs, sperms, and developing young.
The receptacle is a thinged part of the stem from which flower organs grow. In some fruit plants, the receptacle gives rise to the edible parts of the fruit. In a perfect flower, there are two rows of modified leaves, the inner roll of petals and the outer roll of sepals, which enclose the reproductive structures of the flower. The perianth, which consists of the sepal and petal, is the non-reproductive part of the flower. The sepal is the green outermost layer which surrounds the flower petals before it has opened. The petal is the next layer that surrounds the male stamen, female stigma, style, and ovary, and is generally brightly colored. The main purpose of the colorful perianth is to attract pollinators.
While most animals have separate sexes, plants generally do not. Male and female flowers can be on a single specimen or on two separate plants. The entire female reproductive structure is called the pistil, which consists of the stigma, the style, and the ovary. The top surface of the pistil is called the stigma, and this is where pollen first lands. The pollen tube then goes down through the style, which is the tube, to the ovary. The pollen then reaches the ovary and the ovules, which houses the female gametes or eggs. The male reproductive structures in a flower are the stamens, which consists of a filament and an anther on top that produces the pollen grains. This is also where male gametes are developed. After fertilization between the male and female structures occurs, the pistil enlarges to become the developing seed.
Because angiosperms have adapted to live on land and are not in water, they can't swim and find each other like green algae gametes, so the angiosperm gametes need a way to be transported and fertilized from one place to another. One way angiosperms are fertilized are through bees. When bees extract nectar from the angiosperms, pollen grains from the anthers collect on the bee's body and are transferred to the stigma of the next flower, pollinating that one. Pollen can also be carried from an angiosperm stigma to the other stigma by wind, bats, insects, hummingbirds, etc. Petals are often colored to attract pollinating insects, while sepals are usually smaller.